I've never seen a yacht like this in my dreams. Sailing the seas in boats so grand, it seems. But we're just humble sailors, salt upon our cheeks, gold classic every day of the week.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Boat Fool Sailing. Thanks for tuning in last week and thanks for tuning in this week. So we're on our way right now to Knights Marine in Rockland, Maine to meet with Captain Neal Parker to go over and see a beautiful 1937 John Alden sloop. She's a very rare boat. She is in various stages of restoration, and Captain Neal Parker has been authorized to find her a new home. And I think we're going to be blown away. I don't know a whole lot about her at this point, so we're going to go learn everything we can, and I think it's going to be really exciting. So come along, we're going to go check her out right now. Knights Marine, kind of a crazy place. They really pack them in here, cheek to jowl. Okay, so we are here at Knights Marine, as I said, with Captain Neal Parker, and we're going to check out a really, really cool boat. What is she exactly? It's not the one behind us, by the way, because she's not made out of fiberglass.
Here, let's turn around.
All right, here. We turn around and actually show you the boat.
There we go. Nothing makes a vessel less attractive than a large piece of white plastic.
Right, and good for the environment.
We're going to be looking at a 1937 John Alden sloop, 39 feet on deck, launched Quincy, Massachusetts. Her name is NIMBUS, and she's been laid up for a very long time without going into the whole story here. And we're hoping to find the right home for her. Somebody who wants to put in the energy, time, and money. The vessel has a lot of good in her. A lot was poured into her over the years, just hard times and more recent times.
All right, well, let's take a look. I'm going to pause this and we'll walk around, and you can show us what we can learn about the boat from you, and then we'll go up on the deck and really take a good look at her, because you say that's the big reveal up top. This is not going to be all that impressive down here, but up top it's going to be.
When I came aboard her, she reminded me very much of the Wendermere, the schooner I restored that hadn't sailed in 57 years, and that there was so much original. The boat kind of talks to you, and some of the ghosts are still here.
That's
and
awesome. I'm excited.
She needs to find a home, and she needs to be sailed again.
Awesome. All right, let's go take a look.
We're here at the stem, just below the waterline of the NIMBUS. A large part of her was refastened over the years. Her construction is oak framing with mostly mahogany planking. Her keel bolts have been replaced, newer garboards. There's some things that remain to be done, but the recent survey work requirements, the important stuff was taken care of. If somebody put in some time and energy and know-how, they could have her sailing at least on a local basis. I wouldn't take her offshore necessarily until some other stuff was done, but she deserves to go in the water and go sailing.
And that's an iron keel.
Yeah, it's an iron keel, typical of Alden boats. He wanted to make sailing affordable to everybody, and so iron was the way to go with a lot of his vessels. And also her construction has a lot of built-up deadwood and a very short stern post here.
Yeah. Eventually
the stern post should be replaced. This all looks terrible, but really isn't. And she has an interesting feature in that she has an off-center prop. Herreshoff did this on a number of his designs.
I'm going to come around to this side.
I think his Marlin sloops, the ones with inboards, had this type of setup with the rudder cut away because the stern post is so far forward. The rudder is cut away for an off-center shaft.
Interesting. This has got a line cutter on it and a stainless steel shaft. That's a sturdy strut on that. And you said to me earlier that the engine was new, but it hasn't been used.
Yeah, it's a Yanmar that went in new back in the 90s, and the boat was laid up shortly thereafter. It's 40 horsepower and easily accessible.
Okay.
all the way around. There's a separate engine compartment.
So as we were talking before we started filming, you mentioned that if someone were a tremendous DIY type person, they could, in a year's time, over a winter, if this were in a proper location, they could have this restored and off and running.
They could have her operational.
Yeah.
Event there, you can do a long-term plan and a short-term plan, and
Sure.
I was working with a couple that we were going to take that approach. Basically, one of the things you have to do is get over the stigma of the vessel's inertia.
Yep.
Take her out sailing, see what really needs doing, and then come up with a long-term plan. Obviously, if you have a fair amount of cash on hand and
Yep.
you want to take it over to one of the local yards, have everything done at once. But
If you want to get to know your vessel, do it yourself.
Yeah,
if you have the ability.
If you want to get to know your checkbook,
your bank account balance.
Yeah, but
and the spars are all, as you said, all the bright work has been redone on the spars.
yeah, we redid the mast and boom. That's pretty much all she has for spars.
Yep, and some sails that are serviceable.
Yeah, I picked up sails actually from a very similar boat named the Pendragon, which some of you may have seen listed up in down East Maine. Sad case there, but the guy was trying to sell her as a clubhouse.
Oh,
Sometimes even I recognize the boats that's really far gone, but she was lovely. Anyway, I bought some sails from her that looked like they were going to fit within inches.
Okay.
So again, that would get her out sailing.
Yep.
She's been sitting here about a year and a half now. As I say, we did a lot of work. New garboards that we did, recaulking as needed, paid the seams that required. And I think we should go aboard and look, because for somebody to really get excited about her, they've got to see this.
It's like it's going to be going back in time. So she's 1937, you said, right?
Yes, 1937, and she's 39 feet 4 inches on deck, a little over 10 foot in the beam, and draws a little more than 5 feet of water.
All right, so we are up on deck, and we just came through the little opening in the plastic. And it's really sort of arresting because this thing is a time capsule, and she is beautiful. So we're going to work our way back and show you more of her, but takes your breath away, as Captain Neal Parker just said, and I totally agree with him. This is something to behold. That's a nice, is that a CQR anchor up there, it looks like?
Plow or something.
Yeah.
I would take that right off. That bow fitting, just don't like the look of it.
Yeah. Looks substantial though, anyway.
She would have had some kind of anchor crane.
Yep.
On deck, and would have had a pair of Herreshoff anchors on her.
And the teak deck, actually, decking looks in good shape.
The deck is new.
It's all new. Well, that explains why it's in good shape.
Yeah. It's interesting how they put it on. I believe the original deck was leaking, and what they did is they laid a brand new teak deck over the old deck.
Okay.
But it means they would have had to take the tow rails off.
Yep.
They basically raised the entire freeboard up about inch and a half, the thickness of the teak. Okay. You can see they built it against the house sides here.
Yeah. God,
so
it's beautiful.
I mean, usually when you see a boat this old with the original deck, you'll see it scalloped up towards the deck fittings and so on and so forth, and that isn't the case here.
This was properly done.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, we are now in the cockpit looking forward, obviously, and we haven't gone down below. We haven't looked at anything yet, but just wanted to show everybody.
That's the engine hatch.
Oh, wow.
There's two ways into the engine room, that way or behind the companionway ladder.
Yeah, that's some substantial access anyway.
Yeah.
Raw water strainer, oil filter.
The original steering gear. Worm gear.
Worm gear. Not dissimilar to the Marshall. Just different configuration.
Well, this is a worm gear rather than a rack and pinion.
Oh, okay. That's so cool. That is beautiful. Craftsmanship is unreal.
I mean, just the new main sheet winch.
Yeah, that's not original.
No,
ladies and gentlemen.
That is not original.
But this is really neat.
Here, so this is the engine room hatch cover here. Another interesting feature is the location of the compass.
Gimbaled compass right in the
Yep.
cockpit floor.
Yep. And
That's
then there's
really neat.
little cubbies up under the cockpit there and in the stern. At some point, she was given a propane locker, which is back here.
Yeah. I don't know if we can open that, but
yeah.
Oh, so she's been she's up to code anyway. That's slick.
Yeah.
So it's got a direct drain out, vent out. That's beautiful. So that's all been updated.
Yep.
And I think you mentioned this, but she's a sloop, right?
Yep. Wow. Now you can tell, you know, as much as we think she's great and wonderful, she was sort of a middle-class yacht when she was built. There were 5 built off the same plan, and but you notice some interesting things, like if she was ultra high-end, she would have had bronze stanchions. These are galvanized. Just little things like that to save money during construction.
So this was the everyman sloop?
This was the upper middle class version.
Upper middle class, okay. And how many of these were built?
There were 5 off the plan.
Okay. Wow.
I think.
So when you say rare, that's rare.
He designed the first and then, you know, used the plan over. Each owner did a slight modification, but the hulls remained the same. It was plan number 636E, Alden design number 636E.
636E.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she came out of
down in
the Graves Yard in Marblehead.
Marblehead. Okay.
Yeah. First owner, Franklin King.
Franklin who?
Franklin King.
Was the first owner?
Yes, of Boston.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Franklin King.
Yeah, of course. Obviously middle class.
If any
upper
of Franklin King's descendants are out there, we found a dime under the mast.
Yeah, right. But God, she's beautiful. This is in much better condition up here than I thought she was going to be.
She is not a wreck.
She is not a wreck. I concur.
We are down in the main cabin of the Nimbus, otherwise called the saloon. There are 2 berths that are also side lockers. This one folds out into a double. The galley stove is there. It's a
nice
newer
gimbaled
stove, yeah. This is the original counter and hardware for the sink.
Oh yeah, center line.
Yep.
Nice.
And the vessel has an all-new electrical system.
Okay.
When I say new, it was probably circa late 1990s.
Okay.
But
hasn't been used.
Has not been used.
And here's the other engine access through here. Yeah. And battery bank. I mean, all that looks aces, really.
Yeah. We put new batteries aboard. I mean, we were getting ready to go, and then that.
And all the electrical, it looks like it was done in a workmanlike manner.
Oh yeah, it was all yard done.
All yard done. Okay.
Yeah.
God, look at that down in there. It's just it's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, if you take a look at the framing here, you know, the ceiling is a fake ceiling. It's a non-structural ceiling. You know, the internal planking.
Yeah. But it's all in wonderful shape.
Yeah.
These little ports are all bronze.
Yeah.
They're so cool. And so now here we are looking down into the bilge.
Yeah. When we replaced the garboards, we took all the lead out and swept the bilges out good and clean. I wanted to do that because before we launched, I didn't want anything that could plug up a pump.
Right, right.
Maybe I can help with my flashlight here.
Sure, and just so you know, everybody, it's about 40 degrees out, so it's not the warmest day down below here. So if you're sniffling this, because our noses are running. But the ceiling down here is just exquisite.
Yeah. Yeah, this is typical fashion. You actually unscrew the battens on the bottom of the beams here.
Yeah.
Right, you take them home, you varnish them, repaint, and then put them back up.
That's so cool.
That's the way to make it look right. So down the hallway, you have 2 hanging lockers, and you can see some of the construction in here.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
so cool. Yeah, beautiful.
And I'm going to close this door here. And right next to you on the starboard side is the head with a holding tank.
All right. Oh yeah. Is that an electric flush?
Yeah.
How about that? Oh, didn't want to open that.
Is there something in there?
There's old antifreeze in there.
Oh, okay, that's what.
Yeah, a little peeling paint in the ceiling. But wow, you know what's interesting? I was on a boat yesterday, and that was built in 1984, and the head door wouldn't close properly. None of the lockers closed properly. Everything was out of whack. And this boat is what, almost 100 years old, and it's still everything still works. And so this is where your mast would come down and
mast partners up there. And if you take a look,
yeah,
you know, unlike a lot of wooden boat mast partners, these are not all rotted,
right,
as you would often find.
Looks like has that been fiberglassed? Maybe.
I think somebody may have put some resin in there just to make it look neater.
Yeah.
But not necessary. It doesn't do anything, but you can see it's a box section mast.
Yep.
These are the spreaders.
Beautiful.
And 4-peak with 2 more berths. And there's upper and lower spreaders, and here's the jumper stay spreader for the forward side of the mast.
Okay.
Screws still in it, ready to go back on. And then we're looking up into the 4-peak here. This is a boat that just goes on forever. You could almost put a second berth there,
right,
but that's, you know, your chain locker.
Almost a pipe berth up in there. And just for anyone curious, I'm 6'1", and I can just stand up in here. And certainly with the hatch, I could put my head up in there. This is nice. And is this old lead from down in the bilge?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And there's obviously drawers and all sorts of things. This is for the Dodger. I'm not sure if we have the canvas of the Dodger.
Okay.
They've gone ashore somewhere. But you can see all this wirings. And,
oh, that's wonderful shape. It's all new. Yeah.
As I say, tons of money was poured into her, and then just bad luck. You know, an owner disappeared, and the yard said, the boat's been here 15 years, and we can't find the owner.
Right.
We're going to send her to be cut up.
Looking back into the main salon. What a beautiful, beautiful boat. So yeah, I'm just topping out. I can stand up between. What would you call these?
The house beams.
The house beams. I can stand up between them, but I'm also wearing boots. So if I were wearing no shoes like I would typically do in the summer, no problem. But certainly serviceable. I mean, I see what you're saying. It doesn't seem like it would take
a lot of cosmetics.
A lot of cosmetic stuff, but the systems
stuff
are good.
over time.
Yeah.
Got to go through the rigging components and, you know, make sure you have every turnbuckle end that's supposed to be there and stuff. But a lot of the wire is galvanized. Yeah. So I'd look at, certainly before making any kind of voyage, I'd look at replacing that. And
with some stainless.
Yeah. Then again, if I had the time and money, I'd make her into a schooner, but I have bad habits.
Bad habits, yeah, sure. So let's go up on deck again, and you can tell us a little bit about what the story is in terms of why she's for sale and how that would work and look. And hey, look at all this stuff. I mean, it's
comes with an extra shackle.
Hey, that's worth $10.
Yeah. Oh, that is too. Ooh, scissors. Scissors. These may not be here when people come in.
You got pillage. All right, yeah. Let's. I'm trying to think of anything else we should look at while we're down here, but this is amazing. And if you want to go back in time and sail on a beauty and be a head turner in any harbor, this would certainly do the trick, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's we'll go up and talk about why she's for sale and how she's for sale and all that sort of stuff. All right.
Oh, I may tighten those jack stands.
Oh, did the boat just wiggle a little bit?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a small person, Neil.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for pointing that out.
It's the jack stands.
It's the jack stands, right?
Hate those rubber jack stands.
So, the boat's for sale.
The boat is looking for a new home.
Okay.
The owner, who I've worked with since before they acquired her, has asked me to help her find the vessel a new home where she'll be taken care of, the work done, just her life has changed to a point where she can no longer put money into the boat.
Yep.
So that said, she would be willing to donate it to a nonprofit, or I'm authorized to, sell the boat at a more than reasonable price. What I would want to see, she's not just going to go to the first person with $5,000 or $10,000. She's going to go to somebody who can show they have the background of taking on a project like this, or the financial wherewithal, or a place to move her to.
Because you don't want it to end up just like this again with somebody else.
There's a lot of boats just in this yard alone, you know, older wooden boats that somebody comes along and buys for a song with all kinds of dreams.
Yep.
And the vessels haven't left here in years.
Right.
And I know Knights Marine, where she is now, does not want this sloop sitting here falling apart until some owner disappears. Right. I don't want to see her sitting here falling apart. She is so close to being able to sail. That if I didn't have to pay for my daughter's last year of college, I might seriously undertake the project myself.
I would join you in that, Neil, and my daughter's about to start college. So.
Oh, God. Which is worse?
I don't know.
Seeing what it added up to, or seeing
I don't know. You're the light's at the end of the tunnel for you.
Yeah.
So my daughter's about to start college. Yours is about to get out of college. So it's financially not feasible for either of us. Sorry if there's any wind noise. It's blowing 30 knots today out there. So, but to the right person, this might be a modest investment to buy, but it's going to be an investment to get her ready to go in the water. And any sense of what that might cost?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at guessing this stuff. If you did your own work, right? Knowledgeable work, not somebody guessing what to do next.
Right.
If you did your own work, you could probably get her going for 50 or under.
50,000 or under. Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think, if this boat weren't being donated, what would someone have to pay to buy this boat? To the right person. To the right person,
I think as much as anything, you know how when you look at cats for adoption, we're accepting $100 to make sure it goes to the forever home kind of thing. I think $5,000 would be a more than reasonable price. But as I say, I would have to.
You're going to get vetted if you're interested in buying this boat. You're going to be vetted for your abilities and financial abilities, not only craftsman abilities, but financial abilities to make the boat happen.
Right.
Yeah. You're not just a tire kicker who's going to buy this and put in their yard and have it be yard art. It's going to have to go in the water.
Or worse, I saved her once from being cut up for antique.
Yep.
And I am not going to let that happen. That's how I first got involved with this boat. The yard was going to give her to a marine salvage person, and he was going to sell off the portholes and sell off the stanchions and sell off this, sell off the engine. And I couldn't let that happen. I asked him for a year to find the boat a buyer, and I found the boat a buyer, and I have to give this woman her due. She stepped in and helped save the boat just by purchasing her and helping stabilize her, getting her someplace safe, covered up.
Yep.
The survey that was done had certain requirements before the vessel went sailing. Any of the structural requirements have been met.
Okay.
As I say,
that's fantastic.
For this number I quoted to see her sailing again, I honestly believe it's reasonable, but only if you're going to sail the boat in the bay and around here and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Over time, you're going to come back in and do other little projects. Eventually, you might consider replacing the stern post.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bigger structural projects might decide to do new floor timbers, but the keel bolts are new.
Yep.
You know, the boat's been refastened. All the fastenings are good. Silicon bronze screws. And
so in layman's terms, because that's what I am really when it comes to wooden boats, the heavy lifting has been done by and large. It's mostly cosmetic at this point. You're going to want a painter and maybe get some new sails and get the engine worked on by a diesel marine mechanic.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But the real heavy lifting's been done.
I would say it all depends on usage, but you could almost put her in the water now if you had every last rigging component. You could let her swell up. I'd let her swell several weeks at least.
Yep.
And you could probably take her out on days, not like this.
Not when it's gusting 30
right.
out of the northwest, right?
But as you'll see from your pictures, there's some photos of her sailing in the early 2000s.
I can't wait to see those.
And she hasn't really deteriorated since then.
Okay.
So she was a functioning working boat.
Yep.
She wasn't laid up because it wasn't suitable for her to go back in the water due to some needs.
It's just lack of the proper ownership to get her.
Yeah.
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 I mean, this is a fantastic boat, and I mean, I have literally sailed on boats that are in conditions much less savory than this. And
we both have.
We both have. and I have to say, this is savory. I mean, the bright work on this, with the exception of these combing boards here, like the coach roof looks beautiful. I mean, it could use. I mean, obviously a little touching up, but it really looks stunning.
Yeah, and there's places on the you know, somebody would have the option of either recanvassing the housetop, but it could be touched up for now.
Sure.
Places where there's, you know, exposed wood.
Yep.
It'd be easy enough to, you know, use some paint and some cotton cloth and paint that in place, and that will keep the water out.
Yep.
You know, little things like that. The idea is knowing how to just get the boat going.
Use it, appreciate it, and then do the things as they need to be done, as you find them that need to be done.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is so cool. And so we will make sure that all of Captain Neal Parker's contact information is in the description below the video, so you can reach out to him directly. But we'll also, as Neal has said, we're going to have some pictures in the video so you can see what she looks like. And I can't wait to see those myself. I bet she is a sight to behold under sail.
I'll send you the file, and I may put them up somewhere so anybody who's seriously interested, I can send them a link to the pictures.
Okay, fantastic. I love it. Well, thank you so much for the tour of this. This is really, really, really cool. This has made my weekend for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming down and helping save another boat.
My pleasure. And because you did sell the Marshall 22.
The Marshall 22 has a new owner, a gentleman and his wife. He's in his 70s.
That's
and
awesome.
He was like practically in tears with thrill when we
that's amazing.
When we did this, and I'm staying on to coach him in whatever he needs, and he's fallen in love with the coast of Maine, so he may not take her back to Massachusetts.
Well, hey,
that would be okay.
That's okay, because then you get to see her every now and then, right? And one more quick point.
Sure.
If someone were to take ownership of this boat and pass the sniff test that you're going to put them through and the vetting, would you advise them in any way, stay on in any sort of advisory position?
Yes.
To a degree.
To a degree, and then if they want somebody as a project supervisor, we can negotiate from there.
Yep.
I've helped a lot of boat owners plan, do some of the tough stuff. You know, there's people who understand how to do things, but they're afraid to make the first cut.
Yeah, first cut's always the deepest, right?
You know, and say, you see, you can make a hole in your deck. Right. And it's not going to ruin anything.
It's not going to put the boat down.
So make 6 more holes, and I'll be back next week and show me what you've done.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. This has been so cool. Okay, so listen, as a quick wrap, that was perhaps one of the coolest, prettiest boats I have ever seen, at least in recent memory. And my smile at the end of that video is 100% genuine. I was in love with that boat. I am in love with that boat. If I had the means, the skill set, and the time, I'd be all over it. So if you're a nonprofit, you could get this boat for free if you have the right people around you, the right budget, and the right skills. You could have this boat for free. If you're an individual buyer, you could have this boat for as little as $5,000 if you have the right skill set and the means. Captain Neal Parker will vet you, but if you want to take a chance on this, this boat deserves to be back in the water. I am a sucker for older boats. As you know, I'm a sucker for the glory old days, which is ironic since I have a YouTube channel, but I'm just trying to share my passion with you all. This boat, in my humble opinion, if she were to be restored in the way that she should be, I guarantee you she's one of the prettiest boats anyone will have ever seen. And she will knock anyone's socks off, and you will be the belle of any ball. She is a stunner. I was in love from the moment I saw the pictures and I saw her up on deck and saw the craftsmanship behind this boat. It's extraordinary, and I hope someone takes a chance on her, and if you do, please let me know. Please let us follow along, and if you restore her, we'll keep tabs on it and let our viewers know, because it's worth it. It's so cool. I really hope you enjoyed that, and please look below for Captain Neal Parker's contact information, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
And everybody's like luxury, Maggie, caviar, and catering. Sea legs get tired just from walking across the damn thing. We don't care. Catamaran goes anywhere. Boatful sailing in our modest vessels. Waves we wrestle, making all the sirens sing. Ocean air sailing there, we still enjoy the finer things. We don't care. The view is pretty good from here, and we'll always be sailors, sailors. Sail on the open sea. No gold or diamonds on our ships, just grit and camaraderie. And we'll always be sailors, sailors. Here weathering the storm, while the wealthy count the treasures. We embrace the salty norm.